We're here with Greg Elliott, designer of the Elliott 6, which sadly has just been dropped as the Keelboat has been dropped in an Olympic event for 2016. What's your sort of off-the-cuff reaction to that decision?
Off-the-cuff reaction, I think it's a poor decision. I think it's ridiculous to drop an event before it's even been held, and pretty much disappointed because I think that the Elliott 6M as a boat would be good for sailing and certainly good for the Olympics.
So what was sort of on the drawing board for that too, given that we're sort of, 18 months out from 16 months out from the Olympics in terms of where you were going to take that as a boat and into that match racing event?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for 2012, which we are still in 2012 here, it's going to be a match racing event. I've been very, very busy since 2008 when ISAF said that there was going to be an event and that was going to be their boat for the event. So getting, distributing some 100 boats to 22 countries is no easy task, and so I've been very hard pressed to get through that project. But further on from that project, we've looked at developing a different version, maybe for fleet racing, which includes a bow pole, and it could well be used for men's keelboat event as well. But at this point, obviously not for the 2016 games, but we are still pretty keen to continue with that development.
So have you sort of looked at what happens sort of beyond 2012 now in terms of scenarios that, say, joining in with the World Match Racing Tour or something like that?
Not at this point, no, we haven't. I mean, it's still pretty fresh. The decision for the 2016 is still 5 years away, which is, I find a little bit ridiculous as well. But we are just presently, we're just finishing the Olympic fleet, for example, which has to be in the UK for the pre-Olympics. So, I'm still heavily involved in that project with the 2012 Olympics, and so I really want to make sure that everything's perfect for that event. I certainly don't want to start worrying about 2016. We haven't even had 2012, and it's as far as I'm concerned, it has to be perfect.
So, you had a cluster of designs around that sort of 5.9, 6, 7. What did you actually do for the Olympic Elliott 6 that was different from the rest?
Well, we had the 6 metre as well, which is some of the older boats are still being used at clubs and they're being used for youth training and stuff. I took the moulds of the 6, so it wasn't the actual hull moulds per se. And I didn't want to change the boat outright, the whole new design or anything like that, just because I wanted to keep it because it was still a great little. Even in its original form, it's still great. But I sort of wanted to take it to the level of technology that's relevant to today. So we went to carbon spars, for example. We went through a very good cycle of getting everything right with it and exact one design. We're within, this boat is within sort of 7 kilos of tolerance on the whole boat, which, and it's so expertly built that it's what I would class as a true one design. And it's locked off into a situation where a competitor doesn't get advantage from the equipment. And this was the direction that was pretty much heralded by ISAF. They wanted to go in that direction, and through having good construction manuals and all that sort of stuff. So it's been a very, very quite a big job, really. But we're well advanced. Well, they're all perfect anyway. But I think pretty happy with it.
So you recently came out with the Elliott 6 Sport and
Yes.
the SS.
Yes.
What is the difference from
The
those?
the only difference is in the rig. The S, for example, is exactly the Olympic boat, but I've had the option of adding a bow pole. You don't actually have to add the bow pole. You can still use a spinnaker. But I've added a bow pole, and I've changed the mainsail area by putting a square top on it, just adding a little mainsail area, just to give the boat a bit more horsepower, because the boat was actually, I detuned the boat slightly for the Elliott 6M Azipro from the previous boats, because the ISAF crew weight was 204 kilos. And that's what you have to work to. So I was always working to that number, which as a woman's boat is three person, but as a men's boat it could be just two, because the Star's at 200 kilos, for example. So the S has got a slightly bigger mainsail and a bow pole, but it's exactly the same boat. The SS, I've actually increased the rig size and gone masthead with the extras, as an Agenica. So it's got a bow pole and a bigger rig. So you just basically take a 6M and you just put in, the new rig just slots straight on top of it, and it's ready to go.
So what's, in terms of the crew weight required to keep up that big rig, what are you looking at? 260.
I mean, 250, 260, 270, in that sort of range. I mean, the rig has really just gone back to the original size of the original 6, and so they're sailing with those. They're sailing those with around about the 260 kilo crew weight. So that's the rig as in the working sail area. But with the masthead Genica and the bow pole, it's really throwing a bit of high octane into the downwind side of things, but you don't need as much crew weight on the downwind side of things. You just go deeper.
I mean, one of the things you started with that, particularly the Elliott 5.9, was that club fleet concept where you could have kids pretty well come out of school, go into a club program, sail those boats. Do you sort of think that concept has sort of run its race in terms of market saturation, or is there more scope with it, with the faster boats like the 6 Sport?
Well, I think that no, I don't think it's run its course at all. I think that it's a fantastic opportunity for these things. If you actually look at the Yacht Squadron, for example, and their program, and the graduates that they've had from there and what they're doing today, they've even been able to make careers out of it. And the same goes for the Australia as well. Look at the CYC. James Spittle came out of there. I don't think it's run its course at all. A lot of the young guys on the world tour have all gone through those schemes, and there's still people coming in behind them. Now they can actually see a path forward for those schemes. They may even get stronger. And we do have some interest from other clubs around the world for the same sort of thing. And I think personally, I think it's available for strong growth, but probably the financial side of things is more of a deterrent than anything else at the moment. Just worldwide, there just seems to be a bit of cash trapping going on.
By the same token, I mean, while there's a financial deterrent coming up with the money for the asset, the same token, it's a very cheap entry option for kids that are at university, which
absolutely fantastic. If you look at this, if you actually look at the Squadron program and the way they run the program, yes, there is a financial outlay at the beginning, but the boats, I've started with the 5.9s there. They were there for some 12 to 15 years. Then we rolled into the 6s. They were there for a bit over 10 years, and I've just replaced the fleet with 7s, for example, and we're looking at 10 years for those. At the end of the 10-year cycle, they have well and truly paid for themselves. I mean, each individual boat is individually sponsored. The sponsors get a great deal out of it, billboard every week, sort of thing, for a very good cost. But over 10 years, it all gets into a situation where the boats have been paid for. It's a great scheme, and at the end of the day, the people who go into the scheme pay nothing. Zero. It costs them zero to go sailing. It's fantastic.
So the America's Cup having gone out to the multi-hull direction, and the Olympics having now dropped the keelboat, what do you sort of really see as the future of keelboat sailing, given that we've also seen quite a growth in these sort of 20 and up to 32 foot one designs.
Well, I mean, people talk about multi-hulls and stuff, but the America's Cup has always been exclusive, and that's the dominant word there. It's exclusive to youth as well. I mean, I cannot see youth schemes running at clubs with using multi-hulls. It's exclusive in the amount of money that's required to do this sort of stuff. And I think also that, it'll be interesting to see, for example, the multi-hulls back into the Olympics. I think their eyes will eventually water when it costs how much money it costs to get one of those programs up and running. As far as the Keelboat goes, it's still by and far the most predominant vessel that's sailed in the world. I still think by design, I think with the Elliott 6 and especially the Sport or the SS and the 7, we've kept the design that's modern, it's exciting to sail, they really want to sail them. You only have to look at the schemes and they're always full. They're not looking for participants. So I still believe, that it's a great future for that sort of thing. And the multi-hull thing, I still think the word is exclusive. It's exclusive. The amount of money you have to start with.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
There's some opinion for you.